Shadowverse is currently in its last expansion, and with Shadowverse Worlds Beyond coming out this summer, it's time to think about what quality of life changes we got during the lifespan of Shadowverse that we really appreciated, and that we want to see again in this future game. I listed 8 features that I think should absolutely come back in Shadowverse Worlds Beyond. Number 1, the battle history. Shadowverse's decks have a lot of quests and conditions, and having a detailed history to check how far you've advanced said conditions is super helpful. Without it, we would need to remember or write down any relevant information, and it could quickly be hard to track it all. Other digital card games like Hearthstone have yet to implement it, or even show at least the destroyed minions to see which ones can be revived by effects. If I had one criticism, maybe it shows too much information at times, which can be overwhelming, especially in draft formats like Take-Two. I hope it will be improved to display only relevant information based on the cards in your deck. Speaking of Take-Two, of course it should stay in Worlds Beyond. While it lost popularity over time in the competitive scene, having a draft format is a must for a card game, as it tests very different skills than constructed, like your ability to build a deck with limited choice, and to make even weaker cards shine in the right situation. It's also a good way to farm gold and packs for beginners or returning players, while being able to learn interactions of cards they don't own yet. The idea of picking cards pair by pair is pretty original, as you might have to make difficult choices between a bad card and strong card or 2 average cards. Even if Cygames might do some tweaking, such as the rarities of the proposed cards, I think Take-Two can stay as it is. Number 3, the replay feature. Any competitive community will tell you how much of a game changer this feature is. A thought for Pokemon players who are still waiting for the return of the Magneto VS for console matches. Shadowverse lets you check your last 30 games played within the current patch to either show the cool play you did to your friends or to review and analyze your matches to see your mistakes and improve. Recently, we even got the ability to jump directly to a specific turn instead of replaying the whole thing if we wanted to go back or just wanted to see the end of the game. We can have high hopes all of this will be implemented from the start, as it's better for developers to have it ready at launch rather than adding features on top of an existing one. 2 improvements I wish to see are the ability to see who went first before opening the match, to quickly see how unlucky you've been 10 times in a row, and a way to skip the mulligan phase, which is currently pretty slow. Shadowverse's solo mode went a bit further than most other card games, creating a visual novel telling the story about travelers in a multiverse threatened by gods. From the Worlds Beyond trailer, we can definitely see the game is going to have something similar to present the new characters and have the players get attached to their matching cards. That said, not everyone enjoys the story, and not everyone enjoys the card game part. To satisfy those who just want the rewards from the solo mode and those who are here for the plot, it's important to keep both the skip battle and the skip chapter features. Before going into the next feature, please take your time to leave a like on this video if you enjoy it so far. If you have ever played a Shadowverse tournament like the Shadowverse Open before 2020, you know how annoying it was to have your browser open at all times to check your opponent's deck list, or the potential problems for banning a deck in a best-of-3 through Battlefy if your opponent didn't register with the right classes. Well, all of these problems disappeared when they introduced best-of-3 variations of Room Match that fit the tournament formats. Checking your opponent's deck in-game with a click and banning directly through the client made things slightly less tedious. It also made training easier to execute without relying totally on communication through Discord, and led to the introduction of Tournament Mode to register deck lists directly in-game. Since Worlds Beyond is also selling itself as a mobile esports game, keeping fluid tournaments is definitely a necessity. Can you believe we played for 6 years with this to welcome us to the game? The new home background gave a breath of fresh air and made players a tiny bit more motivated to log in. Customization is always appreciated, and being able to set your favorite character, including some of the leaders once you get their card, was a neat addition. NetEase, the Chinese server, had access to this feature for a while, and you just need to see all the mods or fake screens from players over Twitter to be convinced by the enthusiasm this feature generated for the other servers. I hope we can get a lot more choices in Worlds Beyond, especially with famous Shadowverse characters like Albert, Ilana, or Daria that will have their leader transferred over the game. While we are talking about customization, stage selection is also a feature I appreciate. Sometimes, you just don't like the environment or the music of a certain background, and it's cool to be able to remove it from the list. There was a period where I selected only the Amatsuchi stage because I just loved the pink color and the traditional Japanese music. For content creators, the special collabs like the Idolmaster Cinderella Girls or the Vocaloid ones used copyrighted music, making their content ineligible. So being able to remove them from the list to avoid any problem was also great for them. And finally, everyone will agree that deck codes have been an amazing tool that we absolutely need back. Sharing your deck list quickly with a friend without having to reproduce it card by card saves a lot of time and effort and encourages sharing strategies for the game to develop. There is no doubt that we will have a service like Shadowverse Portal for Worlds Beyond, even if there is a chance it is not there at release, but a few weeks after. The recent integration of QR codes to copy lists has also been appreciated by the mobile players, which are the majority in Japan notably. And there you have it. What is a feature you want to see back in Shadowverse Worlds Beyond? Let me know in the comments down below. If you want to see more content on the upcoming new version of Shadowverse from a veteran player, don't hesitate to subscribe to the channel. I'll be covering news and making guides as soon as the game launches. Have a great day, everyone!